You'll never go through your kid's stuff ever, like boy or girl. Go through. You know how some people say, like
It's different.
I seen this like journal of what was it? No, a diary. It was a diary thing. But okay. So I was watching this YouTube clip about the you know those Friends in Practical Jokers, whatever that show.
Yeah.
Where the four guys and they tell them to do shit in the public and they're like, come on, guys, and shit like that.
Yeah.
So there's one of them that was in the library or indoors somewhere, and he had his so-called daughter's diary, and he was telling a girl, like, should I open and read it type shit. And the girl's like, no, she's gonna kill you, like that's supposed to be private and stuff like that. So like I think about that, like for me, or like, is there a line, like when it's your kids' stuff, your kids' room, going through their shit, or like is there a line for that where it's like, oh, nah, or it's like you have no privacy until I say you do, or how's that work? How do you think that would work?
I think there is a line though, because I don't think you should be going through your kid's shit. Like, no, actually, no. You should go through your kid's shit, but not something as like a diary, because a diary is obvious privacy.
Okay,
it's an obvious thing, right? Her room is her room.
But is that just that like diary regardless? If it's a son or a daughter?
Yeah, I don't think you should go through that, because I think what that's gonna lead your kid to believe is that, like, oh, he doesn't trust me. So I think you should give your kid trust to a certain extent until they fail you, until they show you that they can't be trusted. Then it's like, oh, fuck it. You don't get no privacy no more because you destroyed that. Like now it's like you deserve that now because you, what do they call it? You abuse my trust. So then, yeah. But if you haven't, if you haven't done anything, then they should be like, it's left alone to a certain extent.
So like not go through their room.
I mean, I think the room is fine, but I just think like certain shit like journals and shit like that, leave it alone.
And
well, nowadays, who the fuck does that? It would be going through their phone.
What age do you think phones are the best to have? Because I feel like I be seeing little ass kids like hella with phones. Yeah, cell phones.
I don't think
iPhone 14s and shit.
I don't think you should get a phone until you're like 15.
Because I don't see the point of having a cell phone. What are they doing?
Well, actually, I would.
What do you think?
I would give a kid a phone, but I would give him like a $20 phone, flip phone that you get from Dollar Tree or whatever. The ones that I would give him one of those.
So all you can do is call?
Yeah, you just call. You could text on that, boy.
Oh.
It's a lot harder, but because I think you're just exposed to a lot of shit. And that's how you get, like, our nephews are scared and shit because of the shit that they watch on YouTube. They watch scary videos and then they're terrified and shit. You can't be scared if you're never exposed to it.
But do you think that's sheltering?
You're supposed to. You're supposed to shelter your kids for a certain extent.
But if you think back on us when we were younger, I remember being at Michael's house and we watched the Devil's Rejects when it came out.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And you guys were like, you can't watch this because you're gonna get scared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you guys even talking about? Like,
well, they didn't want to let me in there either.
But why? It seems like everybody we were around would be like, watch it, instead of saying don't watch it.
Yeah, but I remember thinking, like, I remember being scared, but I was in there. And I remember multiple things as being scared and still being in there. And as a young kid, you see crazy shit though as a kid. I remember.
Yeah, but I think it's different because the environment we were in builds you tougher, and like our nephews, they're not there. So so why do it? I think you have to shelter a kid to a certain extent, to a certain age, but then you got to let them go, and that has to be. You have to observe when it's time to let him go. It can be early, depending on how he shows, or it can be late, because some people just can't handle it.
Because when family.
Yeah, because the things you're exposed to, like, nah, it's just, especially because the fact that the phone to me is pretty crazy, because the shit you have access to Blue's Clues to cartel videos. And that's crazy.
Oh, you just got to do is type it in.
You just got to find it.
There's no restrictions, but there are people going to say, oh, you can set a code to block whatever, or Like, what do you say to
Okay,
that?
well, let's start the argument then. I would say, okay, then what's the benefit of me giving my kid this phone?
The only thing I can think of people say is like in case of emergencies. That's
the only benefit in my eyes. Because if you're like, they can learn something. No. Full learning has to come from me. And I can't have them learning from the phone and learning from me. Because then they will fight me, right? And at a certain age, you have to grow them up with a certain mentality. And since I want them to have a similar mentality to mine, I have to have no outside sources teaching them nothing. So you can't watch nothing, none of that. Like you could watch stuff, but like a phone to where you have unlimited access to anything, no.
It's I don't think a lot of people realize how much time kids are
on their phones or on their iPads. And it's gotten to a point where people say, your kid is not being raised by you no more, it's getting raised by this. And when you think of that, it's true, huh?
I think it is true, but I also, but if you take into account how many hours are spent at school with their teachers, with their friends, right? If you're in a classroom for 8 hours a day, or let's say 6, right? Because of lunch and breaks or whatever the hell it is, 6 hours a day for a year is a shit ton of time. And if they're pushing, if the schools are pushing a certain thing that you yourself at home are not they don't align with your beliefs or morals or whatever, the kid is going to grow up to think there's 2 different roads, and then he is the one that's going to decide which road is for him. And a lot of times it can be different from what you thought or what you wanted him to pursue or to act or to believe or to whatever.
People would say, oh, but that's fine. They should have that right. No, they're minors. They can't think for themselves. That's why they need somebody else to tell them, hey, you can't do that. That's why we have, oh, you can't smoke, you can't drink to a certain age. It's to protect them from themselves. Because if you think back to when we were kids, the shit we wanted to do was not smart. So like, you have to let them grow up to a certain level to give them the freedom that they want. But a lot of times they want that freedom so early. And when you give it to them, it just leads them to destruction.
A lot of people think, not a lot, but I've heard arguments about kids are denied freedoms from a young age, like just the fact of like, and they view it as a learning, like you're prohibiting your kid's growth by stopping him from learning and experimenting. So when a lot of times when kids get on the table and then you say, hey, get off the table, you're not supposed to be on the table. Now you're setting the rule that, oh, it's not okay for being on a table. So then they see that as you're limiting him as far as his way of thinking, creativity, what he wants to do, all that. They say that the argument is that
we're protecting him.
Yeah, you're making him, like they say, like, and then Jordan Peterson is one of the guys that I heard say that if your kid is walking around with a cup of water, right, you're not supposed to take it away from him, because then you stop him from discovering the error that he made by walking around with the water. He spilled it. So if he spills it, he said, yeah, you're going to have to clean it up. But the kid's going to learn that if he walks around with that, you're going to spill it. Instead of you just taking it from him, he says, oh, he just took it from me. He did. And the learning never.
Okay, but like the example, right? Because it would be like our nephew. He walks around with a drink in his hand and he spilled it multiple times. So how long is that learning thing? Because as a kid, you're not going to care about the spill because you don't know the significance of it, or especially if you're not the one cleaning it up. So if I would apply that mentality, I would say, okay, but every time he spills it, he's going to clean it. Because if I clean it, then he's going to be like, oh, I can spill it all day long. But if I make you clean it, then you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to spill it.
Yeah.
So there's a certain level. If you're going to go that way, you got to go all the way. And I think certain levels, you can't do that. If your kid's on the table and he's young, he's going to fall and you're going to let him take the hit.
To learn.
Just to learn. So it only applies under certain shit.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of stuff nowadays is just given. It's not earned, it's just given. And because it's just given, the value of that, whatever that is given, it's no longer held to the same standard that it was 10, 15 years ago or 20 years ago or
But
whatever.
it's because I don't think we can keep it like that. I think things are gonna change whether we like it or not, and it's just hard because as the changing is happening, we're struggling to adjust to it because we're like, what's the right way to raise a kid nowadays? Because they're not in the streets how we were, but yet you want to have them. You don't want to shelter them. So what do? Do we push them out there on
I
purpose?
think you got to take them to the hood and leave them there. And you know how people, how like, I'm not sure if there's like a Native American thing, or I know it's some type of tribe thing where you got to go out and hunt. You know how people go out and hunt something and then they got to kill it and bring back and then it's like your road to becoming a man type shit. You know how they have those things? That's how it is for people who grew up in the hood. You just got to take them. If you want your kid to be like not sheltered,
but what if that doesn't work? That's why I'm
gotta
like,
try it though.
That's why I'm like, the only thing that I think of is like, okay, you got to find a new path with what you got.
But if you drop him in the hood and he survives, ooh.
What do you mean? Is you gonna leave him there?
Yeah, just a quick little like, I don't know, like 6 hours.
6 hours. But what are they gonna do? They're just gonna let him wander around. But reality, who's gonna do anything to a kid? I mean, it's pretty rare.
I mean, yeah, it seems like it
like, motherfuckers still got morals, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is as far as odds, but I feel like a lot of times, like even now, I don't trust nobody. I don't trust. I 0% trust in humans, right? Any human. But if I were to really like sit down and like analyze everything, I think the odds of meeting a bad person is probably pretty low.
It's lower than finding a good person. I'm pretty sure, like, and it just comes down to defining what's a good person. And I would say, as long as you're not doing dumb shit, like you're not gonna steal or take or abuse or something like that. Even if you're an asshole, you could still be a good person. You're just an asshole, right? So
yeah, like you're not gonna go out and steal babies and
I mean that's another level of craziness. Yeah. So I like somebody might be like, oh, like look at that kid there, fucking his parents are fucking idiots or some shit like that, and they might go off on them or whatever, and somebody might just ignore that baby. So different people will handle that differently. So, but I think like you said, there's more good people than bad.
Yeah, I think everything's just highlighted because all you see is bad shit everywhere online.
And I think probably the reality is that we're too afraid. As grown-ups, we've gotten too afraid because we don't, like you said, we don't trust people. We're afraid that somebody might take our kid. We're afraid. Our kids are not afraid. Our kids want to go play because they don't know the dangers of the world.
Yeah.
But it makes us think because we had freedom, yet nobody took us. But it was in an area where it seemed like a lot of kids had freedom. A lot of kids were roaming the blocks. You would see them. And now I still see that. Like when I go to my sister's neighborhood, there's kids walking around and they're young kids, 7, 8, or like that. And I'm like, the trust, right? And that's how it should be. Because when I see that, I can't help but think like, thank God that kid is not, I'm not a bad person. Because a bad person who's on some fucking morals would be like, look how easily you could take them if you really wanted to. And that's why I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like the chance. That's why I'm like,
yeah, because there's always a percentage, even though if it can be low. But the fact that their percentage exists is the thing that makes me second guess.
Yeah, but that fear is fear, right? But that fear, I only apply it to others because I don't stop fear from stopping me. Like I'm not gonna stop going to the store or going outside just because there's a chance something might happen to me, or like get in the car because there's a chance that I might crash or somebody might crash into me, because you can't live on fear. But for other people,
it's like hard to not have that for others.
You have to have, it seems like you have that instilled in you. Yeah. So where you just like, nope, you're not taking no chances. And it feels uncomfortable.
I think that's human. It's not, I think it's a nature thing because you always want to care for your offspring. Like I feel like the majority of animals always care like for their children to proceed, to live on. I think that's instilled in every animal.
Yeah,
that's why we feel that. But yeah, I think that it also like, what do you, as far as like for if you were to say, because I don't know why instinctively I always want to be harder, more strict, more discipline, more like have more rules and regulations for men, for boys. Like if you're a boy, it seems I treat you you night and day difference from a boy. The way I treat a boy, the way I treat a girl. Like our nieces and nephews, completely different on the way that they, how far, like there's a line of,
it's like rough love.
Yeah, I'll mess if my nephews, I'll mess with them physically. I can like throw them around and stuff, and it's fine, right? But to the girls, I never do that.
I never do that.
And even if they hit me,
I tolerate it.
Yeah, I tolerate it way more.
I do notice that I be tolerating a lot. Even when they say things.
Yeah, verbally.
Yeah, I tolerate
physically,
it. Just because they're girls.
Yeah,
but I think I apply that to everybody though, because I applied it to my sisters. My sisters can get away with a lot more. Like I would hold you accountable way more. Like I wouldn't let you hear it from me, and for them I let stuff slide. Like
I know, and that's and you think that's everyone?
No, hell no. People are mad at shit their sisters, but I just think I have it's weird because that way of thinking. What does that way of thinking mean? Is that because I only hold you accountable because you're a man? And I hold you by your word. Because if you tell me something, if you tell me, man, I'm going to pick you up at the airport at 3 and you're not there at 3 and you're there at 4, you're going to hear it from me. Like, you told me it was 3.
Yeah.
Now you had me waiting an hour, right? But I would be more lenient with my sisters. So what does that mean? Like, does that mean that I like view men at a higher level?
I know, and now I would say so, but I would say, and then I would be like, well, do people think, is this how males think? I would think that's how, instinctively I say, this is the way that men should carry themselves. Boom, right? But then if I go and talk to everybody would have a different opinion. But I feel like a man's word is crazy.
Well, it's just keeping you in check, huh?
Yeah, because like how do you not
hold each other accountable? That's keeping you in check. And I think that's because I acknowledge you're a sword and I'm a sword. And a sword, you got to keep it sharp. And when it has a flaw in it, the only way to fix it is by acknowledging it. And you could sharpen your sword because you don't know until somebody tells you. But I guess as I'm looking at their sword, dull. It's always been dull. It's never been sharp.
They can't even sharpen
it. So another thing is like...
They don't even know how to sharpen it.
So that's why, and when I see your thing, it's like it has to stay sharp. Because I think you have to have somebody checking you. Huh.
Yeah, because for men, if they tell me something and they don't follow through, or they break it, or they come up with stories, the respect that you have for them dips hella crazy.
Yes, it's feminine.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm like going hard, huh? Anti-woman. But it just seems like as a man, you're supposed to be masculine. And part of being masculine to me is because part of being a man to me is keeping your word. And it's always because my dad always said that a man always keeps his word. So if you say something, you have to do it.
I know. And it's such a, and people will say, why do you care what people think of you? Because you know how they're going to say like, how else would you define that, right? Because your reputation is what other people think of you.
But it's not.
Right?
But it's
a different thing, though.
That's not only that, though, because it's also how you're not putting out who you are if you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I know, and then it makes you feel shitty about yourself when you don't do what you said you were gonna do, and it always comes back to like making your last name feel it seems like it's like you're putting a little bit of dirt on it. And I like keeping our shit clean. Our shit crisp, clean, shiny than a bitch.
But you can't control that. And that's why I don't think of it like that. Because we can't control that. Why? Because we're not the only ones with the last name.
Yeah, so, but I don't
there's plenty of people who come from our branch though. There are plenty of people who come from our branch that are fuckheads. Just like a bunch of people, another families. And it's because everybody's gonna be themselves. So I don't think maybe that's a good light of it. Because even if we have a kid, we can't control that motherfucker. He could be doing fuck shit, even though we didn't raise him to be like that. So that's why it's mainly a you thing. When I think of it, it's a me thing. It makes me look bad.
Yeah, but it makes. But when I say our last name, I mainly mean our family. like
Oh,
our
then,
immediate
yeah.
family.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think about our even like our cousins. I don't hold them to the same standards I hold us to.
But for what reason? I don't know why that if I don't hold my word or something like that, it only makes my dad look bad. And why do I not think that it makes my mom look bad? I only think my dad.
Yeah.
If I do something and I don't do it, it makes my dad look bad.
I think because the man, it always comes back to being the
Maybe we're
who's
the
the
only ones
leader,
that think
right?
like
Who's
that.
the leader of the family? You think of your dad.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And when even if you were in a tribe out in the forest in the Amazon, if you're doing fuck shit, it makes the tribe head dude look bad to other tribe
Because
guys
he's the head, huh?
because he's the head, and this motherfucker's under you, so you're responsible to keep this motherfucker in check. So, and because it's our dad, like you see the level he take that he's respected, and where we see him, and where I feel like the majority of the people who know him see him, and then to say this is your kid, it's like a
Yeah.
representation of what you are.
It's like it's because there's no excuse, huh? Like if your dad has so many qualities and you don't have none of them, and he was around and he didn't dip on you or nothing to go get some milk, like he was around, and you don't have none of the qualities, it just seems like you have no excuse, because that would mean that you're not, because people would be like, oh, I chose a different career, but that don't matter because it took you were growing up, so that when you could have been learning since you were 7 or 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's no excuse really to have zero qualities. That's why I feel like I've learned so much shit, because Mexicans in general are like do it yourself, huh? That DIY shit. Even if it comes out fucked up, you learn.
I mean, you have to give it a go. I feel like when you're scared, being scared is not the solution. Being scared, I tell everyone, hey, the only way you're gonna learn is to fuck shit up.
Being scared is fine. I've heard this before. Being scared is fine. The thing is what you do when you're scared.
Yeah, if you step back,
you could be scared, but you have to act.
You have to follow through. Yeah, even if you're scared, you got to follow through. There's a lot of times that I feel like nervous, but at the end of the day, it's like, what's worst case scenario? Just come to the conclusion that even if worst case scenario happens, you're not gonna die.
Yeah.
So who cares? Like, it might cost me money, it might hurt or whatever, but if you ain't gonna die, it's something you have to learn. I'd rather learn.
People would just say it's stupid. Because they would like say, oh, I mean, I guess it would depend on your perspective. Because some people would be like, why do I want to learn? I don't care about learning. I don't want to do this shit. And a lot of people like us would be like, okay, if we try to learn how to make this table and we fuck up, well, fuck it. At least we learn and we do better next time. But as somebody can be like, I don't give a fuck about making tables. Why would I go through it, possibly fuck up the table, or I could just play twice the amount and have somebody else do it than if I would do it myself.
I just think it's because they're not. I feel like when they think that way, they're not really taking into account the knowledge, like learning.
Some people don't care though.
I know.
And
some people don't care, but it just seems like you're undervaluing that lesson.
Yeah,
and that can translate over to a lot of things. It doesn't even have to be woodworking. It's just just if you start something and you finish it, that can translate over to a lot of things.
But if they don't care about that, like remember when we talked about how I said it was a red flag if a man didn't have a drill. Remember how much people got offended? And they were like, I got money. What the fuck I need? I'll just hire somebody. And people were like, even people in the comments were like, okay, buddy, you're going to call somebody to hang a picture frame? Like, that's not manly. I'm sorry. In my eyes, like, I'm never going to judge anybody. What you do, you do. But when my eyes, if they ask for my opinion, that's not manly. If your wife tells you, can you hang a frame up for me? And you have to call somebody? Nah, sorry, bro. That's not manly.
Even if it's just ugly, huh? Even if it's fucking sideways.
Yeah, but eventually you'll learn how to put it decently to where you get a pass and grade, huh?
But if you just say, nah, fuck it, I can't,
yeah, but
or I don't want to.
The simple thing is that.
Yeah.
The simple thing is hanging a frame. People be like, I have no tools. And I said basic tools.
Yeah, I know. And life is not, if you look at, people say, oh, I got money, I got this, but yeah, fucking right. The average motherfucker don't got money like that. The average motherfucker don't got money like that to be hiring motherfuckers at fucking every little whim of whatever, just to be able to call a random motherfucker.
And it's like, if you really think about it, if you're one of those people and you become dependent on somebody else for everything, imagine if they weren't there, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. And it's like, cool, you have money, but when you could have learned so much shit. But it's because people are. It's like, what is that? What is the chances of that becoming reality to where they really need to? Right? They'll be like, I'll figure it out then.
Yeah, it's because they think the odds of World War III type shit, the odds of that happening in their lifetime or anything apocalyptic, they don't. That's why they're like, what are the odds? I got money. But if you think about it, there's gonna be a time. There's always a time. Look at freaking this freaking COVID. However, shit was shut down. You didn't know what the fuck to do. Imagine if something like that comes along, but it's fucking really deadly. And people are gonna start dying left and right. And then ain't nobody gonna come to your house to hang up a frame, or for plumbing, or for electricity.
If it was on like everybody each their own.
Yeah, people are just gonna die. And
you think so?
I'd rather prepare. I'd rather be well-rounded motherfucker around that and everything, and not need it.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine a world where they're like, the U.S. is like, okay, we're not providing electricity no more. Nobody. We're not providing water. Y'all figure it out. Like, it's teach their own.
Yeah, they wouldn't even. They might announce it, but I don't think they would even announce it. They would just. So? And then if you think about, imagine one day that the world does go to shit, right?
But there was availability. So let's say that. Because if there's no availability, then it's fucking chaos. Because now we're fighting over this sip. But I'm saying there's plenty of water. You just have to fucking walk a mile to get to the well.
Yeah, that's
the U.S. was like, we're not bringing the water to your crib anymore. You have to go get it. Old school status. Like, okay, so do you think people would die?
Yeah, they would die.
You don't think people would adjust?
People would do it, but a lot of people would get there.
People would figure out.
They would give up, or they would just start robbing people because they don't want to go do it.
I just think they'll figure out to pay somebody to do it somehow, some way.
If they have something to trade,
they'll start selling
for water.
Yeah, like making somebody else go over there to get the water for them. That's payment. I know, but they'll do it.
So yeah, because I mean, I don't know. They're gonna get an infection.
You gotta wear protection. But yeah, like I mean, you would be surprised that like I've been surprised a lot of times when I hear a lot of people what they do for money, even gay things, and they're not gay, and it's like, and a lot of times they'd be like, "Well, who's gonna know?" And when I hear that, I'm like, "You're gay," because it's like, what are you talking about? Who's gonna know? You would know. God would know. That you're gay.
They say it.
But they'll be like, it's not gay though. I seen a video where I think it was a comedy show. I don't know what the comedian name is. But the girl was talking about there's a place where guys go. This is pretty descriptive, but like guys go and these guys tug on each other's like whoever wants to, they help each other out. And then they just leave home and everybody leaves homes and says they're not gay. And I'm like, and the comedian was like, that's gay. What are you talking about? That's gay. And that is gay. And she's like, no, it's not. You don't leave gay. And what do you mean? You do leave gay. You're gay. There's no excuses. If you're doing gay acts,
if you're doing anything sexual with another man in the vicinity, you're gay.
You're gay.
You're hella gay.
You know what I think is gay too? I think if two mans and one girl trains. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nasty.
That's gay.
But you got to look at this other motherfucker too.
Yeah, and people are like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. If there's more men in the room than women, that's gay. I don't care what nobody says. That's gay.
So what if they say, why if they switch it up and you still have one man and they have 3 girls? 2 dudes, 3 girls.
Still gay.
It's still gay, right?
It can't be more than one man in the room.
That's what I'm saying. So because you said if there's more men than women, it's gay. But if there's any man, period, more than one.
Even if there's 20 girls and 3 dudes, it's still gay.
And 2 dudes, still gay.
Still gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gay.
Yeah. I don't understand how the hell that would not be gay. Any dude that's touching your body, that shit gay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and why does money change that? Money's powerful.
And people say, "Oh, they're lying, motherfuckers. You guys are lying to say that if somebody gave you $1 million, you wouldn't suck it."
And they'd be like, I mean, and people probably don't believe me when I would say I wouldn't, right? I wouldn't do it.
Like how far? How far? I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't do anything that, like, I mean, I guess holding a dude's hand it's still a little gay, but like I would hold a dude's hand. Like I remember you had told me, like, would you make out with a motherfucker for $1
Yeah,
million?
because you said there's a price
Yeah, there's a price
for a lot of things, and I'm like, nah, that's
like
nah.
kissing them. That's nasty.
Yeah, like, well, you say, well, peck, right? A peck. I would never peck a dude. I wouldn't do it. Like, I can't do it. It's just I can't do it. But then what do people say? Oh, you're insecure. What do they say that? Because they'd be like, it doesn't really make you gay. Because if you like genuinely don't have an attraction to this dude, but you're just kissing him for money, that doesn't make you gay. But it does. And it's a stain on your shirt for life. That's you now.
I don't know. About kissing, I don't know. Because it's just nasty. That's hella nasty. Like even the thought of it's hella nasty. But I like holding a hand, like putting makeup on, putting a dress on, that type of shit. For money,
you would do that.
There's a number for that.
Publicly,
I don't give a fuck about that. Publicly, that's not more shameful for me. I mean, it would make just because I had to walk around, it's more effort. So, yeah. I mean, if you wanted to take a picture and then put it out in public, then it would make zero difference for me. But I'm just saying,
it wouldn't be an extra fee.
I mean, it might be a little bit, but it's not like oh shit, I gotta think of this really hard. Nah, I don't give a fuck. But the fact if you want me to fucking stroll around town, that's gonna be more money because I gotta walk around, and this is probably gonna be uncomfortable and whatever. But there's a number for that for me. I don't know what the fuck it'd be. It'd probably be a big number though, life changing. I'm not about to do no shit like that. Like there's a lot of things in life that I don't value money like that.
There's people who would do that for 5 G's.
Easy. Nah, not worth it.
People would do it. And people for sure, like a make out session,
20 for 5 G's?
20 G's. They'd do it probably for less.
That's gay.
They would do it though. Then that's what I'm saying. Like, that's too much. I can't do that because we're not gay. You know, that's why we don't have that. We don't have that in us for the other people. But I wonder, like, well, I mean, for somebody who's gay, it's not the same, right? For them to kiss a girl, it's not the same.
Not the same.
Why?
Because you're not.
It's just like girls don't. It's just for some reason we don't view them like that.
I don't think it's as big a deal.
Why though? You would think if you're attracted to men, why wouldn't you think that kissing a woman is nasty the way a heterosexual male thinks kissing a man is nasty? Because it's just ill, right, for us.
I don't know. I don't know how that would work. We have to ask.
Because you see how we have to have the conversation of how much money, like, because we don't want to do it that much that the only way you can possibly get someone to do it is with a big amount of money. Why? And yet, if you ask a gay person, well, I'm not going to speak for them, but I'm just saying, like, it just seems like they would be more okay with kissing a girl for freaking $10, $20, $100, right? Or am I wrong?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I wouldn't know about that, but I wouldn't see it as that bad. But I'm not gay though, so I don't know how the fuck that would work.
Well, I seen it somewhere on a podcast recently. I seen that they were talking about if you go to jail at a very young age, say like 16, 17, 18, and you're doing life, people are like, a lot of people were like, you're turning gay. And it's like, no. And then dude was like, no, I wouldn't. He's like, you're crazy thinking I would turn gay. He said, I don't care how long I'm in there. He said, but I wouldn't sleep with another man. And it's like, and that's how I feel. But he's like, yeah, but you're saying that right now. Once you're in there and 20 years deep, you might change your mind or something like that. But nah, I just think I couldn't. Like, that's something for some reason that I could say positive. Like, it wouldn't happen. And it just wouldn't happen. Like, there's no interest there.
I know. I don't understand how you can be aroused by a man. I don't understand that. Like, how can you look at this ugly motherfucker and say, yummy?
Oh,
I
shit.
don't understand that shit. I do not understand that.
But I mean, it doesn't. It's to each their own because
Yeah, I don't
it
care.
doesn't affect me.
I don't. When it comes to big gay people, trans people, whatever, purple people, I don't give a fuck. Right? If they want to do what they want to do, is fine. I just don't like when they push it. When they push it, when they're like, "Join me," I'm like, "Bro, chill. Stay by yourself, motherfucker."
Yeah, like they're rallying up.
I just don't like them to push. Like it seems like they're trying to recruit. Like why? Why recruit? I don't understand. Like why are you trying to convert people? Why? Don't understand that.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing because it seems like the movement was more about being accepted, which should be about accepting them, not creating more of them, right? But even saying that, I know from the person who's gay would be like, these dudes are anti-gay, which is I'm not. Like we're in America and even in the world, well, I don't care. You have the right to do what you want to do, and it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. I think you should be able to do whatever you want to do. But it just seems like you said, if you're pushing it into the media or into everything, where it's like, it does seem like, what do you do? What are you trying to do? You're trying to, because the thing is, it's a hard conversation because to people it would be like, are you trying to push the narrative that this is okay to our kids? And it's like, you can't do that to our kids. If you want to do that to your kids, that's your kid. But when you're pushing something that is against what I believe in or somebody else believes in, and it's like, where we don't see it as okay, it's like, it's fine if you want to do it. But when it comes to our household, this is not a thing we do over here.
Yeah.
And yet you're pushing it. It's just leading our kids into confusion because then it's like, oh, it is okay, or this is, and oh, that's weird, and it's like, it's a hard conversation for a lot of people.
And I don't understand why these parents are allowing kids to make big life-changing decisions about their body at such a young age. Like, I don't understand. Like, what? And then, like, you see all these people that are saying, like, I consider myself a they or it or whatever it is. I don't know, right? And it's like you're not speaking to me the way I label myself, right? Whatever they call, like, I identify as whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't understand why you push that, right?
I think you could do whatever you want. So you could identify yourself as however you want to identify yourself.
But they want,
but now,
you. They want.
That's the
thing.
problem.
Yeah,
because now when you want somebody else to address you a certain way, you can't do that because now you're forcing your beliefs and your views on that person. But that's why I don't think we should force anything upon anybody. Forcing seems wrong, and it is wrong. Force upon anything is wrong. So when you're pushing something and everything that everything we're consuming is wrong. It just is how it is. And like even with the Bud Light situation, when they put that, I don't remember what they did, but they did something prideful related on the can or something.
Yeah, well,
like
they were giving. Well, I didn't read into it. I should read into it, but from the little bit that I got from it, it said that so they gave like 200 cans, like labels or whatever, to 200 different people, and one of them was for a transgender thing. So one of the cans had a transgender person on the can or something like that.
Oh.
And people went crazy because of that one person, but they were giving it to 200 other people. And it's like, they didn't just like highlight this one person or whatever, but like, and Dana White was saying like, oh, people are real quick to like demonize a company like quickly, but they don't look at the history of like how much money they spend on helping the veterans, on helping their community, they employ like 75,000 people in the US. So he's like, that alone should give you just employing 75,000 people in the US. Okay, so all right, let's say that all these people that were like, oh, F Bud Light, don't drink and whatever, and then they started laying people off. They're people who are working in the labor force. Now that if they got to start cutting down people because they can't afford it.
Yeah, but don't you think people have the right to choose what companies they support?
I think so.
So I think at the same
but
time, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, what? So we supposed to just keep giving them their money?
No, I feel
don't
like
think
I
that
feel like
either.
if that for whatever reason crossed your morality thing, then you have every right to say fuck it, fuck them, right? But you
I don't.
shouldn't.
It's not even fuck them. That's too far. It's just like, okay, I don't agree with this. I'm not gonna support this because if I support this, the next thing you know, it will be on something else and something else and something else. So it just depends on, and not even just with the gay thing. It could be something else, right?
But-
Imagine if Bud Light had Joe Biden on it. You know how many motherfuckers would get pissed? Because how many people who drink Bud Light who are Trump fans, they would say fuck Bud Light, just like they said it for the same thing.
Yeah.
So it would be the same thing, right? It's just now, because I think when you come to gay, it just seems like it's hateful towards their community. But okay, let's take away their community and let's say politics. Imagine if they did that. Put Joe Biden on the can, how much shit that would stir up? It would stir up a fuck ton. So it would be the same thing. Okay, is it wrong that the Republicans are saying, you know what? I'm not buying Bud Light no more. I don't care. I don't care how many people they help. I'm not buying it because they're promoting something that affects me.
Yeah.
You know, it affects me because this is the president and you're trying to put this guy on the face of it. Nah.
Yeah. When it comes to certain things that if it doesn't align with what you believe in, I feel like you have every right to boycott it. But you shouldn't demonize it and say like they work for the devil type shit. Like, no, don't do this because they're trying to fuck with your kids or make it seem way more worse than it. Because it's not like they were like, oh, let's like they made it seem, because even when they first came out, they made it seem like they were pushing hard for the transgender people, and then people got pissed. And I'm like, oh, it wasn't even like that crazy, but people made it seem like it was. Like it was way more pushed than it actually was. But I don't even drink beer, so I don't give a fuck. I think the only thing, as far as like, I feel like is Corona. It's a Mexican brand, right? But is it brewed and done all that shit in Mexico?
Yeah, it's imported.
I don't know what it is, but it just seemed like that's the best beer. And people who drink, not like it's not rare, but it's uncommon
To find a better beer?
to find people that's their main beer.
Oh.
That is not Mexican?
Because it's expensive. So not a lot of people, that's their favorite choice because it's expensive.
What's Bud Light cost?
Bud Light's cheaper.
Like what?
I don't know. I don't buy it.
Oh.
I don't like Bud Light. I think it's nasty. I don't like Bud Light. You know, we stick to Corona or, you know, that I drink and people would be like, oh, you're trying to keep an image or something like that because you don't drink white beer or whatever, if that's even a thing, right?
Oh, you just drink Corona because you're Mexican.
Yeah,
like
no, but it's not true because I've tasted like Blue Moon and I like that. You know, but the only thing is I have never found a beer to completely replace Corona. Never.
And,
Corona's
when it
just
comes
too
to
good.
flavor?
Yeah, it dethrones Corona. Like you might take a break and go here for a little bit, but you'll always come back. It's like Coke. You know how they say Coke has like crack in it or cocaine in it? There's something in you. They say that Coca-Cola, they still make it with the cocaine leaf. But they distract
extract the fucking addictive shit
or whatever. I don't fucking
know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm trying to think. I don't fuck with Heineken. Heineken doesn't taste good.
Well, you don't like beer at all, so.
Yeah, but the Corona doesn't taste bad when you put lemon in it. Like lemon and salt. It's just when you hit that first little point, it's not, that shit tastes good.
I don't know why.
The first little one, boom, shit hit good. I can see why the why people drink it. But like every other beer, it's shit like that nasty fucking, you get that freaking stuff like weedy fucking whatever.
That's what's good.
That shit not that good.
Yeah, that shit is good to me.
And
it's probably an acquired taste, but it's good.
Nah,
like beer's probably one of the best drinks
like the
ever
skunky
made. It's one of the best drinks ever made.
Beer is?
Yeah, beer is.
Followed by
water. Even though water's not made. Well, it's clean, right? But
water sometimes hits a spot at all. I'm trying to think. Because what are the highlights in beer? What are the highlights?
Well, it has alcohol in it. So a lot of people. But what do you mean by like taste or what?
Well, I mean brand
Beer
wise.
is just like what's the best beer?
Yeah, because like if you had to rank it, right?
Well, it would be Corona number one for sure. Because like everybody who drinks beer, if I can remember, there's never been a time where somebody said, "Oh, I don't drink Corona." Like I came across a beer drinker and I handed them a Corona. I never had somebody say, "Oh, I don't drink that."
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah.
Like that.
I've given Mexicans Budweiser, and they're like, "Nah, that's just too strong." Like they don't like drinking it. Like they'll drink it, but they don't like drinking too much. And it's like this is not all Mexicans, because Mexicans like to get fucked up, but just certain people. When I speak about when I hand somebody a beer and they deny it, that's happened with certain beers, like Budweiser and maybe Blue Moon. So I mean, I don't know.
What about the Mexican beers like Victoria, Tecate? That shit's all nasty, isn't it?
No, that's just good. Victoria's good, and then Corona Black, like it's really good too.
Corona Black, Modelo Black.
Modelo Black. Corona is called Familiar. Familiar, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think that beer is good. But here's something I wanted to ask you too. I wanted to ask you, what's if you had to pick something, like what's one thing you hate about yourself? Is there something? Because I feel like there's gotta be, right? There's gotta be something that you dislike about you. That if you could
That can be
change
anything.
it could be anything.
And that I hate. There's stuff that I mean, I wish it was a little bit better. Like little things.
Yeah, that's why. So what is those things?
But that I hate? Like, what the fuck do I hate about
Or just dislike that if you could change it, you would.
I feel like I need to be more disciplined. I gotta follow through. You know, a lot of times I tell myself I'm gonna do something. You know, like same shit. It's only I never fail others, but I always fail myself. Like I'm more willing to. I'm more willing to like not show up for me.
I think that's everybody though.
That's one thing that I don't like that I do. I don't know if I hate it. I mean, I guess I probably if I had to choose, I'd probably say hate because I wanna get better. I want to be better. And I always be telling myself, like, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. And then if it doesn't happen, I'm not broken by it. It don't hurt as much as I would want it to. And if you think about it, if I tell somebody else, I'm going to show up, and I always show up for them because it's like, I told them I care. So it's like, I care more showing up for others than I do show up for myself. And it doesn't hurt. Like the not showing up doesn't hurt like I thought like it should. That would be one thing. But if we were thinking about like, I mean, I wish I was a little bit taller. I feel like being a little bit taller.
But that's something you can't control.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, like, if I could change it, I want to be.
I hear a lot of people say that.
Just a little bit. Maybe like I don't know, like 6 foot. So I can at least try to dunk. I want to dunk.
Oh, okay.
I want to be able to dunk. That
seems like that's a popular answer. Like to say, like, I wish I was taller.
Only a little bit though.
Why? I mean,
I just want to be able to dunk.
I mean,
It would be so tight.
But you could dunk. You could lower the rim. What do you know?
So I think 6 foot. I think I'd be able to dunk.
Yeah, because one thing that if I had to pick about me is like some days I just don't. I'm just not feeling it. And there's like it's hard to get. It's almost like it's hard to channel me because there's some things where I'm just annoyed. And for no reason. And I don't like that about myself because I don't want it to affect my conversations or you know, like what do they call it? Like bounce off of me to you. Just because like for some odd reason I'm just not feeling it today. I don't want to hear nothing. Like, and I don't know why that is, and I hate that about myself.
And what is the odds of that though?
No, it's rare. It happens here and there. You know, there's just some days where it's like I don't feel it. You know, and I try to like hear people out. If I'm having a conversation with somebody, hear them out, whatever, and everything. But it's like sometimes I don't want to hear that. And it's just, and I don't want to be mean or anything. Or sometimes I don't know how to respond. So you just get silence from me. And I wonder if people take silence as like not an answer.
Or rudeness.
Because silence to me is an answer. Right? Because if you ask me something, you're asking me a question. sometimes I won't answer you because I have to think about it. So you won't hear nothing from me for a while. But it's not that I didn't hear you. It's just that I'm thinking about what you're saying. So it's like, but I wonder if my silence is taken as disrespectful or rude more. Yeah.
I guess it depends on who it is.
If somebody doesn't know you, maybe.
Yeah. You know how you're saying the world's trying to get you? I be feeling hella lucky. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think it's like, you know how when you're a kid and you think like, oh, I ain't gonna die. This shit won't hurt me. Car accident, I ain't gonna die.
I don't know. I never thought.
I used to think like, man, I'll take it.
I never thought like that.
I used to think like getting shot. Like when I was a kid, I was dumb. I'd be like, yeah, if I got shot, I mean, depending where you got shot, obviously, but if I'm like, if it didn't hit me nowhere vital, they ain't gonna take me out. That's how I used to think. And I always feel like I don't know what it is about life. Is a lot of these moments I've experienced where, for some reason, it was just lucky. I just got lucky, and I'm like, what are the odds that I'm the one that wins, either in school or I went to the first time I went to a national card convention, the convention for like sports cards, and I won Justin Herbert auto at a 99. Like, what are the odds of that? And it was a big pool of people, and you just go in there, they pull numbers, and then boom, whatever you get in the case, based on your team, that's what they give you. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, what are the odds?
Oh, you get to pick your team?
No, they pick it.
Oh,
they pick it. They just pick you, and they go down the line. So it just happened. I was my name pulled out for the Charger slot. Boom. And then I got Herbert. And what are the odds?
I've never won anything like that. Ever.
It seems like at school, it seems like all the time. It's always, whenever I play the odds, for whatever reason, it seems like I've always been lucky. So that's why when I'm like, when that's just going to transition over the casino. So then we went with my dad and my mom when I went. And I'm like, I'm gonna for sure win something. I'm not going to lose. And then being there for like, I don't know, we were there for a few hours, but I lost all my money.
The first time?
The first time I went in there with $100, right, to spend. Well, I went in with 300, but my mentality was like, just blow 100, whatever. And I went through that 100, just, it would give me, and then it would come down. I went up to 150, right? So I won $50, and then it would come down to like 75. Then I'll go back up to 120, then it'd come back down. And eventually I lost it all, right? And by that time, my dad had already won. He had already won like $600. So I'm like, let's go. I'm good. We're good. Let's go. And then he's like, I'm telling you, he's like, I got a feeling. You just go. Let's go play the $3 slot machine. Let's just play. I'm telling you, you just see $20. See what happens. Like, he's like, let's just see. And then I'm like, all right, let's go. So I went with him, and we found the machine. He put $20 in. I was there probably, I don't know, 6 minutes hitting it. And then boom, I don't even know what the number, the letter things, the symbols. Yeah, symbols, yeah. I don't even remember what the fuck they were. But boom, she hit me with like 250.
Oh, off of how many moves?
Off like I don't know, like 5 minutes worth of hitting it. Oh. 5 minutes worth. So now the $250, I'm like, oh fuck it, I just got my 100 back that I lost plus another 150. So then I said, let's cash out. Boom, let's go.
Oh, you cashed out.
And then mom's like, I need to go to the restroom before we leave. I'm like, all right. So she went to the restroom, and then we were waiting for her. My dad went to go cash the tickets. He came back. My mom came out, and she's like, hey, I always wanted to try this machine. How do you play this? Right? Well, because she still had some money left. And then and she sat down and started playing some like a digital one. It was like a digital freaking machine. And then I sat down next to her, and my dad sat next to me. And my dad didn't want to play no more because he already won 600, but I still had $250. And so I was up 150. So I'm like, fuck it. And play there again. Play there. I probably played there for 40 minutes or so, me and my mom. And then boom, another 250. And I'm like, oh. Like, there's no, like, I can't lose. Everywhere I go, I'm winning. Fuck it, let's keep playing. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, and then when I walked out, I had $100. But I played the extra $250 that I had won or whatever. I just kept playing at that same machine. and eventually
you
I
lost
lost it
it.
all.
Oh.
And then I had like $50 left, and I went to go play. I went to go play like $9 hits. Boom, 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 boom. And I didn't realize shit could get expensive. Like there's some machines you can play with a shit ton of money. I didn't
Yeah.
even know this shit would even
I
allow.
mean, a
it.
lot of people, I don't think it's popular playing for quarters. Think so? Maybe it is.
Yeah, people
But it
play
seems
pennies.
like a lot of people. Oh yeah, really? There's slots for that.
penny ones. Yep.
Oh, because like when we went because you took me for the first time, and because to me, a casino never been appealing to me. The idea of losing my money has never been a good idea. At the chance of making more, it's just never been a smart move. But I was like, whatever. And then because like everybody who goes for the first time, they win. So I was like, let me go see what I win, because I'm gonna win for the first time. I'm not naive enough to think that, oh, I'm gonna always win. I just know that I'm gonna win the first time, because for some odd reason, it seems everybody I know wins the first time. So when we went, I could immediately tell this isn't the place for me. Like I could tell, like for some odd feeling in my
You
body,
feel off, huh?
it just seems like I don't belong here. Like this doesn't seem right. And then I just looking around, and you see all these people on machines, and then I really notice, oh shit, this shit's an addiction. Remember I told you? Seeing all these people on these screens pushing buttons is not a good look. Like and I just like I don't know. I just for something it put on my radar. It turned on my radar like it's not for me. So when we started playing, it was kind of boring. I mean, but then as soon as you start winning a little bit, it gets slightly more entertaining. And then I just kept going and going because I stayed on the same machine. And then when I won, and we bounced out immediately after I won $108. I started with 100 and left with 208. And when I left immediately, like remember I told you, I can't lie, but that does give you a good feeling. Like it does, it's something that you get. It's like this weird thing, like a satisfaction you get from knowing that it's almost like unreal. Like how did I just walk? How did I just get $108 that easy? Like but pushing a button. And I was like, that's really what it is, because you were like, it's dopamine, you know, and it really is that. You get such it's a craving. And then I looked it up. I'm like, what is it, right? To ensure if it was dopamine, and it is. And it's just it triggers your brain, and it gives you a sense of satisfaction
and pleasure.
And it said that you won't get it. It's like a high. Like the first time you get it, that high is hella good. And to continue to get it, you have to gamble more money, it said, to get back that same feeling. But like to describe the feeling I got, I wasn't like, oh, super in a good mood by it. I was just like, that's tight. You know, I left 108. But it's just not like, it didn't give me that. And I don't know, maybe it would have, because $100 ain't shit. Like, but like, I mean, 100's 100. But I mean, like, maybe if I would have walked out with like $5,000 or $3,000 with 100, I think it would have done something to me, because I would have been like, let's go again. Because it's like, I'm up so much that what's the loss, right? And I was looking up, supposedly there's different casinos with more return rate. Because there's shit, all this shit's monitored by the state or some shit like that. Casinos have to give a certain return. Like it's a weird thing. I was reading upon it. They have to. And there you could actually look up what casino gives the most. Like in Michigan. And I don't know how that works. But for some reason that the casinos like to give, because what casino is going to stay in business that always just takes? Like none. That's why there's so many people there.
Yeah, but the thing is to give, but the thing is to trick whoever you gave to come back and spend it.
Yeah, but it's like, because I was like, are casinos rigged? Because it seems like it has to be in somehow, some way.
It has to be, because if you were to really think that shit should be 50-50 when you play certain games.
Because how does the slots work? How are they programmed? Like, are they not programmed to win a certain amount of time? Because if there weren't, then it would be random, right? Every time. That means
that's what you would think.
That's what you would think, that you could win off one spin.
Yeah, but then the odds would be that actually you can win it twice in a row, right? If
off
it was
the same machine.
If it was random.
Yeah,
but it's not like that. I don't think it's like that. I think it is rigged to a certain extent, but
do you think it has to be in order for it to be fair?
Because I don't know how that would work. As far as would they go bankrupt? Because they don't want to give up that much money either, because it's a business. But yeah, they're probably making they're probably making millions a year.
They're making a fuck ton of money. Casinos, like you could tell, like I said, when you see it, and especially it's a lot of old people. A lot of old people love that shit, and a lot of Mexican people love that shit. A lot of Mexicans love the casino. It's just I don't know why. Every adult person that I've known, like related to us, they love the casino. Like everybody. When I think of my uncles that I could think of, I think they all fuck with it. I think why it's just a good pastime for them. I don't really find it that entertaining. Like the machine, I don't find it entertaining. I think it's just the idea of the money. I guess.
I know. That's why I was telling my dad I don't like being here all day. Like you're being there and like hitting the button repetitively every single freaking second, 2 seconds, or whatever it is. It just seems I can't leave because I need to keep hitting this shit in order for it to give me my money. Right? That's what I'm thinking. I gotta keep playing this shit. But and my thing is always big plays. The bigger the more return. So if you actually make money, I always like you can't be scared. If you're there to gamble, you gotta be there to gamble. So if you're there for $100, in my head, that $100 is already gone.
You already lost.
So I don't give a fuck about hitting it.
As soon as I put it into the machine.
Yeah.
When I put it into the machine, I said this shit's gone.
Yeah, that's how it should be. You shouldn't go in there with the expectation to win shit. You should already be like, oh yeah, I lost 100. Going in there, I lost 100. And if you're not good with that, then you shouldn't be gambling.
I think probably there is something to that. There has to be, because it doesn't that make sense that if you come in with more money to spend, that you have a higher chance of getting money, right? You would think so, right? No. Especially if it's all luck based, right? Because if you come in there with 1,000 playing quarters, it seems like your chances are a lot higher to win than the person with 100, right? Because you have a lot more spins or whatever it is. That's what it seems like. But what is the real thing? I wonder if you tried it.
No,
like somebody came in with a G and sat on a different machine, quarters, just boom, boom, boom for 1,000.
My dad was telling me a story about a lady who says that she doesn't lose. She just doesn't even work. She just says she doesn't play the machines, the slots. And she says, I don't care if I spend 5 G's, but this machine's going to pay me. And if
she just plays machines?
She just plays machines. She says she keep putting money in until the machine gives her
money back.
Yeah. So she's like, I'll keep playing forever. So she'll spend like $7,000 playing on one machine until the machine gives her.
On one machine? She don't move?
Yeah, she don't move. And I'm like, that'll take forever. But if you got it like that, I mean, if you really want to make big boy money I think the slots are your odds are a lot less. If you go play like something with better odds, like the card games and shit, playing against the dealer, I think those are you have a little bit better chances, but you actually still got to know what the fuck you're doing.
Do you think it's a good idea? Because I think it would be more entertaining if you were playing slots for rewards, not just money. Like, what if you can go in there with $50 and leave with a PS5? Like, do you think that's something that I'm giving the casino ideas to get the youth on board?
To make them start gambling?
Yeah, you can get a PS5 for $50. You know, it's just like those machines that you always see that have fucking iPhones, and you could, and if you put it through the slot, there's like a key, and if you put it exactly in through the slot, then you win that prize. Even though the likelihood of you doing that is probably like you probably never do that shit. If they put into the casino, you don't think that like win a Group 4090 graphics card? Mm-hmm. I would be intrigued. I would go to that machine. If we were there, I would be on that machine hitting that boy. Pa, 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 pa.
Yeah, I just don't know how. Yeah, I mean, it's not a.
Yeah, they would just give you the ticket and it would say whatever you want on it, and you go into there's a place where you go in there and you give them the ticket,
claim it,
and you claim it. Yeah. Just like how you claim it. Don't you think that would add more variety to get the youth
in there spending their money?
Yeah.
It probably would.
Demonic shit to get the youth in there.
It probably would, but then they would have to have a bunch of PlayStation 4s and shit in stock. If it's like, what's the likelihood of them actually winning though?
Well, I mean, but it would be worth it because you would make more money. More people would lose than win.
Well, I mean, you'd get them hooked at a younger age.
Depending, like if you would want a whole PC, you had to play $5 spins or some shit like that. Just like you would just manage it. They would figure out a way on.
Yeah,
TVs and shit. You don't think people, even grown-ups, would gamble that shit? Don't you think so? I'm gonna win a TV real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they would do it, but if they did it, they would hook the kids up hella early. They'd be in there at 18, trying to win shit.
Yeah.
Throughout their whole life, trying to win TVs, trying to
It
win a
seems
car.
like that's how you would get them, huh? Imagine, or if they give you a car, but it seems like
I mean, they did have a car up front. Remember?
you could win it. Oh,
did they?
I don't know.
No, they didn't. I don't remember. They had a car at Soaring Eagle, outside, parked outside, and they said, "Play this shit." Didn't get a chance to enter to win. Whatever the fuck.
Even winning, I think, would be awkward though. I think if I went and I won 20 grand, and everybody comes around me, I wouldn't like that. Like, leave me alone. Like,
I wouldn't like it either, but it's for 20 grand, so I don't give a fuck.
Or because people are nosy, huh? They want to just, what'd you win? What this? And it's like, leave me alone. But it's just like, I think, like you said, we just got to get better with people. Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.